I opened his suitcase and found a velvet box, meant not for me, but for the woman I trusted most. In that split second, the world cracked open like a fault line under San Andreas, swallowing 5 years of my life whole. And as the ring tumbled out, catching the fluorescent buzz of the airport lounge, I didn't cry, I planned. My name is Emery Hale, and if you think betrayal is just a broken heart, you're not from the streets of Brooklyn where I grew up. It's a goddamn earthquake that levels everything you thought was solid. That velvet box? It wasn't just Jake's proposal to Sarah, my best friend since we were 8, sneaking Marlboros behind the bodega on Flatbush Avenue.
No.
It was the key to a cage I'd been locked in for half a decade, innocent as a lamb led to slaughter. It started 5 years ago, back when I was climbing the greasy ladder at Sterling Financial in Midtown. I was the hotshot analyst, the one they called M the Closer because I could crunch numbers like a pit bull on a bone. Jake was my anchor, tall, broad-shouldered, with that easy grin that made you forget he was a mid-level sales rep peddling insurance to retirees in Queens. We met at a dive bar in Williamsburg, the kind with sticky floors and craft IPAs that tasted like regret. He proposed on the Brooklyn Bridge at sunset, fireworks popping over the East River like some rom-com cliché. I said yes because in a city that chews you up and spits you out, he felt like home. Sarah was the wild card, the one who'd been there through my mom's overdose when I was 16, holding me while the paramedics pried the needle from her arm. She was the wild one, blonde curls, laugh like a shotgun, always one bad decision away from glory or the gutter. We shared everything, hangovers, heartbreaks, that tiny walk-up in Bushwick where rent was split 3 ways with our college roommate until she bailed for Silicon Valley. Sarah worked the same firm as me, junior accountant, eyes on the prize. We were sisters, blood be damned. Then came the audit. Sterling was bleeding cash, millions siphoned through ghost accounts, offshore wires to Cayman shells. The feds swooped in like hawks on a mouse, and the trail led straight to my desk. Forged signatures, timestamps that matched my login, emails I'd supposedly sent at 3 a.m. from my IP address. I swore up and down it wasn't me. Jake held my hand in the interrogation room, his thumb stroking my knuckles like he could erase the cuffs. We'll fight this.
Eminência.
You're innocent. Sarah baked casseroles, cried at my arraignment, posted bail with her trust fund scraps. But the evidence was ironclad. My laptop had the malware traces. My bank statements showed deposits I never touched, laundered back as bonuses. The jury didn't buy my panic attack on the stand, the way I babbled about blackouts from stress pills. 10 years. Reduced to 5 for good behavior. I did my time in Bedford Hills, upstate, where the winters bite like a scorned lover and the showers are communal nightmares. Jake visited twice a month, smuggling in contraband chocolate and promises of appeals. Sarah wrote letters, long ones about how she'd testify if the case reopened, how she'd always believed me. Parole came early, model inmate,
they said.
I stepped out into the gray September drizzle of 2025, Jake waiting in his beat-up Honda Civic, Sarah hugging me so tight I smelled her Chanel No. 5 mixed with desperation. We're throwing you a party tonight, she beamed. The old crew. Karaoke at the Rusty Nail. I laughed it off. Jet-lagged from freedom. But inside, something itched. Why did Jake's eyes dart when he kissed me? Why did Sarah's smile feel like a mask from one of those Times Square hustlers? The party was a blur of cheap tequila shots and forced nostalgia. I was 32 going on 40, skin sallow from prison fluorescence. But they toasted me like I was Lazarus risen. Jake proposed a toast. To Emery, the strongest woman I know. We never doubted you, liar, my gut whispered. By midnight, I was buzzed. Jake passed out on the couch in his Astoria apartment. Sarah had crashed in the guest room. Too sloshed to Uber. I stumbled to the bedroom, suitcase half unpacked from my release stash. And that's when I saw it. His carry-on, zipper gaping like an accusation. I don't know why I rifled through, call it survivor's instinct. The paranoia that keeps you alive when trust is a luxury. Socks.
Yes.
A crumpled pack of Trojans. Then, buried under a folded button-down, the velvet box. Black as midnight, embossed with K Jewelers gold. My heart did that stupid flip. Like maybe this was his way of reclaiming us. I popped it open, and the diamond winked back, princess cut. 2 carats easy. Nestled on white gold that screamed forever. But it wasn't for me. Tucked inside the lid, a scrawled note in Jake's chicken scratch. Sarah, my wild one. Marry me? Make it official. The room spun. Not from booze, but from the void opening under my feet. 5 years. 5 fucking years I'd rotted for them. For what? I clutched the box, nails digging into velvet, and stormed to the guest room. Sarah snored softly, arm flung over the pillow. I shook her awake, the ring thrust under her nose like Exhibit A in my personal tribunal. Her eyes fluttered open, confusion melting to horror.
Ink.
What? Oh God. She sat up, sheet pooling around her waist. That damn necklace I'd given her for her birthday glinting in the moonlight. It's not what you think. Bullshit, I hissed, voice low to not wake Jake. How long? She crumbled. Tears instant. 2 years. After your trial. He was broken.
Eminência.
We both were. It just happened. Lies stacked on lies. But her face, God, that face I'd trusted with my darkest secrets, cracked the dam. I slapped her. Not hard, but enough to echo in the silence. Her cheek bloomed red, and she didn't fight back. Just stared, like I'd finally seen the real her. I fled to the fire escape, chain-smoking camels until dawn painted the skyline bruise purple. Jake found me there, reeking of ash and betrayal. Emery,
Talk to me.
I tossed the box at his feet, note fluttering like a white flag of surrender. His face went ashen, excuses tumbling. It was a mistake. I love you. Sarah means nothing. But his eyes, they flickered with relief. Like the secret was out, and the weight lifted. We didn't divorce that week, no. I was too raw, too scheming. Instead, I played the part, the wounded wife, the forgiving friend. Moved into a sublet in Greenpoint. Started temping at a coffee shop because who hires an ex-con with fraud on her record? But nights, alone with the hum of the L train, I pieced it together. The embezzlement. My login. Those bonuses. I'd always wondered why the deposits hit right after Jake's sales quotas tanked. Why Sarah's offshore accounting gig started the month before the bust. A Google deep dive, fueled by black coffee and spite, led me to a forum for white-collar whistleblowers. Buried in a thread about Sterling, a user shadow ledger posting anonymized docs. Wire transfers from Jake's alias account to Sarah's shell corp. Timestamps matching her alibis during my blackouts. They'd framed me, doctored my files, planted the malware, Let me take the fall to cover their skim of $2.3 million. Jake's gambling debts. Sarah's coke habit. They bled the firm dry. And I was the perfect patsy. Loyal Emery. Too buried in spreadsheets to notice. Rage isn't hot, it's cold. Calculating. By week's end, I'd hired a PI on credit, a grizzled ex-cop named Ruiz who chain-smokes worse than me. You want dirt?
Kid?
This'll cost you. I didn't care. I wanted blood. Metaphorical kind. The kind that stains souls. Revenge wasn't about screaming or slashing tires. It was about mirrors, holding one up so they saw the monsters they'd birthed in me. First move. The reunion dinner. I suggested it. All olive branch and therapy speak. We need closure, I said over burner phone. They agreed, eager to bury the hatchet, or me. We met at that Italian joint in Little Italy, red checkered tables and Sinatra crooning from the speakers. Jake in his pressed chinos. Sarah in a sundress that hugged her like a lie. I ordered Chianti, raised my glass. To new beginnings. They clinked. Oblivious. Halfway through tiramisu, I slid the folder across, printouts from Ruiz, highlighted in yellow like a prosecutor's wet dream. Jake's face drained of color. Sarah choked on her espresso. What the hell? He sputtered. Justice, I replied, voice steady as the Brooklyn Bridge. You stole my life. Now I steal yours. They begged.
Pleaded.
Offered money. The apartment. Even the ring. Take it. Pawn it. Whatever. But I saw the flip in their eyes, from guilt to calculation. Jake's hand under the table, squeezing Sarah's knee. Partners in crime. Still. That's when I knew this wasn't over. It was just round one. As I walked out into the humid night, fireflies of cab lights swarming Canal Street, I felt the old Emery die. The new one? She had a list. And a lighter. Revenge is like a Brooklyn brownstone layered.
Creaky.
Full of hidden rooms where the ghosts whisper your sins back at you. Mine started in a cyber cafe off Bedford Avenue. The kind with flickering screens and the perpetual stink of burnt ramen. Ruiz had given me the basics, Jake's burner emails, Sarah's encrypted chats. But I needed more. I needed to burrow in, like a tick under skin. I taught myself the basics on YouTube, VPNs,
Tor.
phishing kits from the dark web. Prison had its perks, a crash course in survival, including bunkmates who'd done time for cyber fraud. 1. A wiry hacker named Lena slipped me her Gmail before lights out. Hit me up.
Chica.
I'll ghost your ass online.
Now.
Out here in the wild, Lena was my Virgil through digital hell. First target, Jake. His password was "and Sarah forever," poetic, in a vomit-inducing way. I mirrored his inbox, siphoned his contacts. Turns out, post-prison, he'd climbed regional VP at a rival firm, all-state something or other, schmoozing execs at golf outings in the Hamptons. But the debts lingered, online poker tabs, bookie calls from Jersey goons. And Sarah? She'd pivoted to consulting, her LinkedIn a shrine to vague buzzwords. But digs revealed her side hustle, escorting high rollers, the discreet kind listed on whisper networks in the village. The flip came quick. A week after the dinner, Jake cornered me at the coffee shop, my apron smeared with latte foam, his suit crisp as fresh lies. Emery,
Please.
let's talk. For old times. I clocked out early. led him to McCarran Park, where dog walkers dodged frisbees and hipsters vaped under the willows. He spilled. It was Sarah's idea. The frame job. She had the accounting chops. He the access. I tried to stop it.
Babe. But she
has a hold. Classic Jake. Blame the woman. Play the victim. I nodded. Eyes soft. While my phone buzzed with Lena's alert, Jake's latest wire to a Cayman account. $50,000 funneled through Sarah's LLC. You're scared, I said,
touching his arm like I used to.
Of her. Of losing everything. He melted. Confess more. The ring was guilt gift. A Hail Mary to keep Sarah quiet. They'd planned to run after the skim cleared, but my arrest derailed it.
Now.
With me back. She was pushing for another score, this time. Insider trading on a biotech merger. Controversial? Hell yes. Illegal as sin. But in the cutthroat game of Wall Street. It's Tuesday. I played along. Leaked tips from my old Sterling contacts, fictional merger whispers that tanked when they bet wrong. Jake lost $20K overnight. Called me sobbing. You're the only one I trust now.
Trust.
The word tasted like battery acid. But it bought me time. Time to seed doubt. Sarah was trickier, paranoid, always checking her six. I went old school. Tail her from a distance. Ruiz's Nikon capturing her meets at the Bowery Hotel. She was juggling flames, a senator from Albany, a tech bro from Flatiron, all wired for blackmail. But the real bomb? Her half-sister.
Mia.
A recovering addict I'd met in Bedford. Mia reached out post-release. Coffee at a diner in Crown Heights. Sarah visited me once. During your trial. Dropped cash. Said it was from you. But her eyes. Cold. Turns out, Sarah had a secret buried deeper than Jake's poker holes. Their mom. Not mine. Had OD'd. Sarah's doing. Laced the pills to cover a theft from the family stash. She'd confessed to Mia in a drunken haze. But Mia kept quiet. Loyal to the blood tie. I didn't judge, hell. I understood. Secrets are the currency of survival in this city. But I filed it away. A dagger for later. The tension ratcheted when Sarah invited me for girls' night, wine at her new place in Chelsea. A loft with exposed brick and skyline views that screamed stolen money. I went, wired with a recorder in my bra, Lena monitoring remotely. Sarah poured Malbec. Her laugh brittle.
Ain't
about Jake. I ended it. For us. Lies. But her eyes darted to her phone. Texts from him. Hearts and pleas. We talked betrayal. The kind that guts you. You think I don't feel it, she said. Voice cracking. Losing you is worse than any high. I nodded. Squeezed her hand. Felt the tremor. That's when I dropped the hook. What if we hit back? At Sterling. They ruined us all. Her eyes lit greed. The great equalizer. She bit. Sketched a plan. Hack the old servers. Expose the real crooks, still there. Skim a finder's fee. It was beautiful. Her scheming. But I flipped it, fed Lena the details, who bounced them to an anonymous tip line at the SEC. By morning, feds were raiding Sarah's loft. She called me hysterical. Emery, it's you, isn't it? You bitch. I let it ring, watching from a rooftop across the street as Suits hauled her designer bags. Jake flipped next, blamed her fully, begged me to vouch. I can fix this. We can start over. I met him at Coney Island, the boardwalk empty under Atlantic gales. Cyclone creaking in the distance.
Prove it, I said.
Cut her loose. Give me the codes to your accounts. He did. Hands shaking. Kissed me like it meant salvation. But as seagulls screamed overhead, I saw the other flip, his phone buzzing. A text from Sarah. Don't trust her. She's playing us both. Paranoia. Delicious. I deleted it before he saw. Planted my own from anonymous, hinting Sarah was ratting him out. The web tightened, strands of doubt strangling trust. Nights blurred into code and caffeine. Lena, my co-conspirator. You're good at this. She said over Discord. Dark side suits you. Maybe. But every keystroke echoed the cell block clang. A reminder, this wasn't justice. It was war. And in America, wars have casualties. My first sleep. Dreams of the ring. Velvet choking me like a noose. Then the escalation. Ruiz called. Jake's bookies were circling. Threats scrawled on his car in the Allstate lot. Sarah. Out on bail. Vanished. Holed up in a Jersey motel. Plotting her counter. I paid a visit. Anonymous drop of Mia's letter at her door. You killed Mom. Emery knows. The silence after?
Deafening.
I was in deep now. The line between Avenger and villain blurring like fog off the Hudson. Jake proposed again, that same damn ring. Cleaned of her scent. Marry me for real this time. On one knee in Central Park. Joggers blurring by. My heart twisted, love's ghost. Stubborn.
I said yes.
Felt the diamond bite my finger like a promise of poison. But as we walked hand in hand toward the Bethesda fountain, Sarah's shadow loomed in the treeline. Watching. The game wasn't over. It was just getting bloody. Do you ever wonder why New Yorkers don't flinch at sirens? Because chaos is the baseline. The pulse under the pavement. My revenge symphony hit its dissonant chord that October. Leaves turning bloody on the branches, like warnings I ignored. Jake and I were engaged again, publicly. At least. Instagram posts of brunches at Sarah Beth's. His arm around me like a noose disguised as affection. The city bought it. Second chances trending in our feeds. Comments from old colleagues. So inspiring. Emery, you're a phoenix. Phoenix.
My ass.
More like a hydra. Heads multiplying with every lie. Sarah's disappearance wasn't flight. It was regrouping. She surfaced via burner. Voice distorted. You think you won? I made you.
Eminência.
Without me, you're nothing.
Click.
But the damage was sown, Mia. Her half-sister. Got a midnight visit from thugs in tracksuits. Jersey accents thick as mob movies. Tell your sis to back off. Or next time it's you in the river. Mia called me sobbing. And I felt the fracture. My revenge cracking innocence. I doubled down. Met Jake at his office after hours. Glass towers in Times Square. The glow of billboards painting us in electric hues. He was frantic. Desk littered with foreclosure notices. The bookies. They're saying Sarah sent them. That she's flipping on me to the feds.
His eyes.
Bloodshot.
Pleaded.
I comforted. Whispered plans. We run. Take what's left. Start over in Miami.
Lies.
All of it. But his relief was palpable. That night, in his king bed overlooking the chaos below, we made love like it could erase the rot. His hands on my scars literal. From a prison shank fight, tender. For a moment, I almost believed. Almost. Lena hacked deeper. Sarah wasn't just scheming, she was lying. Chats with a sterling exec, the same sleaze who'd testified against me. Emery's unraveling it all, Sarah typed. We pin the new skim on her, parole violation. Back to the cage. Flip number 3. From lover to sacrificial lamb. Me again. But the exec? He was Jake's golf buddy. The one who'd hooked him the insider tips. The web wasn't a circle, it was a noose. All 3 of us tangled. Controversy brewed when the Post got wind. Anonymous leak.
Courtesy of me.
Headline: Ex-con fiancé's revenge plot? Wall Street love triangle turns toxic. Photos. Us at brunch. Sarah's mugshot inset. The city feasted, podcasts dissected it. Reddit threads split. Team Emery, the betrayed badass. Team Sarah, the survivor clawing back. And the edgelords calling us all trash. Jake raged. Who did this? I feigned shock. Let tears flow. Maybe her. She's unhinged. But the real storm hit at me is. I drove up to Crown Heights in a borrowed Civic. Rain lashing like judgment. She met me on the stoop. Black eye blooming purple. They roughed me up.
Eminencia.
Said Sarah sorry.
But.
She ain't. Inside. Over weak tea.
Mia spilled, Sara esse childhood.
The mom OD not accident but mercy. Cancer eating her alive. Pills to end the pain. Sarah had confessed in therapy, but twisted it for sympathy. She's broken. Like us.
But you.
You're fire now. Fire spreads. I left Mia with cash and a burner. Drove to the Jersey motel, neon vacancy sign flickering like a bad omen. Sarah answered the door in yoga pants and a tank. Hair matted. Eyes feral.
No hug.
Just stand off in the stale carpet funk. Come to gloat, she sneered. Come to end it. I tossed the folder, her chats with the exec. Timestamps linking to Jake's trades. Her face crumpled. Then hardened. You don't get it. We did it for you too, at first. Your mom's dead. The funeral. We were drowning. Bullshit. Mom's OD was 8 years back. The skim was greed.
Pure.
But her flip. Jake's the snake. He seduced me to cover his ass. Marry him.
Eminencia.
Let him rot with you. The room spun, alliance offered. Venom-laced. I almost took it. The 3 of us against the world like old times. But the ring on my finger burned. Reminder. Instead, I pulled the ace. Audio from the recorder. Her confessing the frame to Jake post-trial. Listen to yourself. Monster. She lunged, nails raking my arm. But I shoved her back, first blood. Metaphorical. Stay away.
Hors mia pays.
She laughed.
Bitter.
You already made me a killer twice. What's one more?
Doorschlemd.
But the seed was planted, doubt in her own reflection. Back in the city, Jake waited with roses and regret. Sarah called. Says you're poisoning me against her. The flip, his loyalty shifting like sand. I countered with sex. Then sabotage. Lena drained his poker accounts. Framed it as Sarah's hack. He woke to zeros. Called the cops hers. Not mine. The alliance fractured further. He ghosted her. Begged my forgiveness. But the tension coiled tighter. Ruiz warned. Feds are sniffing.
Kid.
Your prints on the leaks. Parole officer breathing down my neck. Random checks. I was walking a razor. Every step controversial. Who roots for the ex-con playing vigilante? Nights. I pace my sublet. Skyline mocking me through cracked blinds. Was I hero or heel? The mirror showed hollow cheeks, eyes like chipped flint. Chow Treo brewed at the gala, Sterling's annual black tie bash at the plaza. Irony dripping like champagne. Jake dragged me as arm candy. Sarah banned but crashing anyway. I wore the ring. Red gown hugging scars. Felt eyes. Whispers of that fraud girl. Jake schmoozed. Oblivious to my pocketed USB, Lena's virus. Ready to dump their sins on the PA system. Sarah appeared like a ghost in emerald silk, cornering me by the ice sculpture. Truce. Wine glass trembled in her hand. Up close. She was wreckage, coke lines etched fine. We end this. Together. Her hand on mine, electric with old love. For a heartbeat, I saw us at 16, plotting boys and futures. Then Jake sidled up, arm possessive. What's this? The flip. Sarah's eyes narrowed. Ask your fiancé. She's the one unraveling us. Jake tensed, suspicion blooming. The room hummed, jazz trio. Clinking stems, tension thick as fog. I slipped away to the balcony, Hudson glittering below like shattered glass. They followed, arguing in hisses, blame, accusations, the old dance. You framed her, Sarah spat. For your debts. Jake countered. You laced the pills for Mom. The secret out. Air sucked from lungs. That's when I hit play. USB plugged to the sound system via a waiter pal, Ruiz's nephew. Their voices boomed. Confessions, plots, the embezzlement tape looping. Gasps rippled. Phones whipped out. Live streaming the fall. Feds in the crowd, already moving, badges flashing. Jake whirled on me. You did this? Betrayal in his eyes, my mirror. Sarah lunged. Glass shattering on marble. Chaos, screams. Security swarming. I backed away. Heart pounding. The ring slipping from my finger into the punch bowl. Good riddance. As cuffs clicked on them both. Jake's last words. I loved you.
Eminência.
Once. Sarah's glare. We're the same now. The crowd parted. Judgment in every stare. Hero? Villain? Or just another New Yorker? Broken and bold. I slipped out into the night. Gala lights fading like a bad dream. But the twist whispered, not over yet. Freedom tastes like stale diner coffee after a bender, bitter. But it wakes you to the wreckage. Post-gala. The headline screamed, Wall Street Seamus. Love triangle ends in cuffs. Jake and Sarah. Arrested mid-tango. Facing RICO charges. Conspiracy. The works.
Me?
Cleared posthumously, my name in bold. Wrongly convicted analyst vindicated. Talk shows called. A podcaster offered 6 figures for my story. I ghosted them all. Holed up in the Greenpoint sublet. Blinds drawn against the paparazzi flashbulbs. Ruiz dropped by with pastrami on rye. His fedora tilted like a noir prop. You did it.
Kid.
Clean getaway. But his eyes said otherwise, feds grilling him. Lena gone dark after a vacation to Mexico. The web I'd spun was unraveling. Strands snagging innocence. Mia moved to Philly. Ghost of my calls. Jake's mom. A sweet widow in Flushing. Left voicemails. How could you? Emery? He was your family. Guilt gnawed. Controversial as ever. Had I avenged? Or just amplified the pain? Jake's trial was the circus. Federal courthouse in Foley Square. Tourists gawking like it was Broadway. I testified. Voice steady, The frame, the affair, the skim. Jurors leaned in, some nodding sympathy, others side-eyeing the ex-con. Sarah's defense flipped first. Emery orchestrated it all. Revenge porn for her book deal. Gasps. The judge banged gavel. But evidence mounted. Wires.
Logs.
Her own emails. Jake took the stand. Broken. She was my everything.
Then.
We broke her. His eyes met mine across the room. Love?
Pity?
Or calculation? One last play? The twist hit mid-recess. Prosecutor pulled me aside. Off record.
Hale.
Sarah's singing. Says you knew about the frame from day one. Covered for Jake to keep the marriage. My blood iced.
How?
Then it clicked. The recorder. I'd left it in the Chelsea loft that night. Forgotten in rage. She'd found it. Twisted the narrative. Flips upon flips. Now I was the co-conspirator. Parole revoked pending investigation. Tension peaked in holding. Conjugal visit. Jake through plexiglass. Believe her, he rasped. Receiver greasy. I shook head, but doubt crept. She flipped on you too.
His laugh.
Hollow. That's the game.
Eminência.
We all flip. He slid a note under the partition. Lawyer approved. Coordinates to a locker in Penn Station.
For you.
If I go down alone. I went. Midnight train rumble masking my pulse. Locker 47. Not cash, but a thumb drive. Lena's work? No, videos.
Us.
In bed. Post-gala planning. Wait.
No, deeper. Me.
In the cyber cafe. Typing the phishing code. For insurance, Jake's voiceover purred. He'd bugged me, planted a tracker in the ring, recorded every keystroke. The ultimate flip, my revenge, weaponized against me. Panic clawed. I smashed the drive under heel, sparks flying on the platform. But copies? Inevitably. Sarah's lawyer leaked snippets. Ex-gon's cyber revenge. Was it all a setup? The tide turned. Public split wider. Feminists rallied. Smear the survivor. MAGA types. Lock her up again. Felon's gonna felon. Debates raged on X. Polls neck and neck. Was Emery justice or jihad? I ran figuratively. Parole be damned. Crashed with Ruiz in his Astoria walk-up. Cigars smoke thick as fog. Options, flee or fight. Fight meant turning states, rat on them fully, but risk perjury on the leaks. Flee, Mexico with Lena, but ghosts follow. Nights, I dreamed the ring, velvet box opening to infinity, swallowing me. Sarah's flip came in court, tearful testimony. Emery knew. She took the fall willingly for love. For the money split. Jury murmurs. Jake's face ashen. But his counter. Lies. She destroyed us. The antagonists. Mirrors of each other. Machiavellian. Flipping to save skins.
Me.
The fulcrum. Bending underweight.
Cao trào Etlaudet on closing argument.
Power outage. Brownout from a storm. Plunged the courtroom black. Shouts. Chaos. In the dark. A hand grabbed mine. Sarah. Escaped cuffs? No. Jake's lawyer. Slipping a whisper. She's got a deal. Immunity if she burns you both. Lights flickered on. She was there. Composed. But her eyes?
Wild.
The final flip. Betrayal of betrayers. I bolted post-adjournment. Rain-slick streets of lower Manhattan a blur. Cabs honked. Sirens wailed. Ruiz met me at a dive in Two Bridges. Shots of Jameson burning trails. It's over. Jury's out tomorrow. But my phone buzzed, anonymous video. Sarah in holding, monologuing to a guard. Emery's the real crook. Framed me to frame them. Cycle of bitches. Wait, her voice. But scripted? Deep fake.
Linnaeus signature watermark fin.
The polarization peaked. Media frenzy. Who to believe? The betrayed or the betrayers? Protests outside, signs for free Emery, counter with justice for victims. No one's hands clean. My revenge. A Rorschach test of morality. Verdict morning. Guilty on all counts. Jake and Sarah. 20 years apiece.
No parole.
Cheers from some. Boos from kin. I watched from the back. Anonymous in a hoodie. As they led them out, Jake mouthed, "Why?" Sarah spat, "Monster."
Outside.
Press swarmed. I pushed through, emerged into autumn bite. Cleared?
Technically.
But the stain lingered. Whispers. Job rejections. Revenge's aftertaste, ash. Yet the echo, that drives fragments. If leaked, I'm done. I torched the remains in a queen's alley. Flames dancing like fireflies of fate. Free or forever fugitive, the city pulsed on, indifferent. But me? I felt the pull, back to the web. Or out. Epilogues in revenge tales are supposed to tie bows, justice served. Villain vanquished. Hero horizon bound. But life's no script. It's a gritty reboot where the credits roll mid-scene, leaving you arguing in the lobby. 6 months post-verdict. Brooklyn winter clamped down like a vice, slushy sidewalks. Holiday lights mocking the gloom in my soul. Jake and Sarah rotted in Otisville. Upstate Fed pen. Conjugal visits denied. Letters came his. Maudlin, please. I flipped for you.
Always, ifs.
Venom vials. You made me confess, Mom. Burn in your hell. I cashed the podcast a check. Enough for a down payment on a cottage in the Catskills, far from the city's snarl. Tempe'd as a bookkeeper for a nonprofit, crunching grants instead of greed.
Clean, they said.
But the itch persisted. A phantom limb of paranoia. Every shadow held a flip. Every call a setup. The final twist slithered in spring. Cherry blossoms bleeding pink on the FDR. Ruiz called. Package at my door. For you. I drove down. Heart thudding. Brown paper. No return. Inside, the velvet box. Ring pristine. Note in Sarah's script. Yours now. Take it back.
How? Prison contraband.
Smuggled via a guard she'd charmed, her last con. I stared at it under diner fluorescence. Coffee going cold. Flashback cascade. The suitcase. The slap. The gala crash. All for this? A bauble symbolizing chains? But deeper, tucked in the satin. A micro SD card. I plugged it into a burner laptop. Breath shallow. Footage, not mine. Not theirs. Wedding video, our elopement. Jake and me in City Hall. Sarah as witness. Laughing through tears. To forever, we toasted. Cheap bubbly fizzing.
Cut to black.
Then audio. Sarah's voice. Post-trial. Emery took the fall. For us. She knew. Covered it. Love makes fools. Wait, no. Deep fake again? But the timestamp. Pre-arrest. Real. My world tilted.
I'd known.
Subconscious whispers in prison dreams. Vague memories of Jake's late nights. Sarah's loans. Had I buried it? Borne the crime to save them? The ultimate flip. Self-betrayal.
My own secret chiseled in.
Rage or release. I drove to Otisville. Visitor log forged by Lena, back from vacation, winking. Jake first. Plexiglass between.
The card, I said.
His smile. Crooked. Truth hurts.
Ha!
You chose it for me. Denial surged, then crumbled. Why not tell? Love, he shrugged. Twisted kind. Sarah next. Eyes hollowed. We all flipped.
Eminencia. But you?
You flipped yourself. Her hand pressed glass to mine. Forgive. The drive back. Hudson a silver ribbon. I debated. Expose it all, my complicity. Spark the debate anew? Or bury? Let the ending stand. Revenge triumphant. Ambiguities intact. I chose neither. Pawned the ring in Midtown. Proceeds to Mia's rehab fund. Deleted the card. Watched pixels dissolve like smoke. No book. No tell-all. Just Emery Hale. 33. Walking Flatbush at dusk. Bodega bells chiming. Happy? Tragic? You decide. In America, endings are poles, right?
Wrong.
Or the gray where we all live. The skyline loomed, unblinking. I flipped it off, laughed into the wind. Free. Finally. Or as free as the betrayed get. But as sirens wailed distant, a text pinged anonymous. Miss me? Game's not over. S. The web quivers. Flip the page? Or burn the book?